Hello everyone, it's Dave. I've got a game here between myself and Larry Christiansen. This is a Grandmaster Simul on ICC, the Internet Chess Club. At the time, Mr. Christiansen was rated at 2559 and I was rated at 1888. This will be a Caro-Kann defense, the exchange variation. ECO code is B13. Our themes will be a minority attack, pressure forcing mistakes, and queen out of play. So let's get started. Larry played E4, I responded C6, D4, D5, E takes, C takes, bishop to D3, knight to C6. These are all just developing moves, all book. C3, knight to F6, bishop to F4. Putting pressure on my dark squares here. I respond bishop to G4, attacking his queen. He plays queen to B3, attacking my B7 pawn. I protected it with queen to C8, plays knight to D2, E6, knight at G to F3, bishop to E7, white castles. I retreat my bishop to H5, rook at F to E1, I castle. White drops his knight in on E5, gaining some space here. I exchange it. He retakes with his bishop. And at this point, I had to start asking myself, what is going to be my plan? Generally in this position, I look for a minority attack on the queen side. What I mean by that is I've got two pawns here. White's got three. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to push these pawns forward, exchange them, so there's only one pawn left on the queen side. That will be my target of my play. Hopefully I'll win that and then eventually win the game. So that's my plan, that's my idea. So I start off with A6. And white plays rook to E3. This is the first move that's out of book. Up to this point, everything's been book. It's been played before. And by this move, I pretty well knew that I anticipated Mr. Christiansen to move his rook over and put pressure on my king. So I play knight to F6, thinking, oh, I'll win this bishop, and have the two bishops. But Larry, being the grandmaster he is, played rook at H to H3. I followed my plan, took, knight takes E5, and then I was surprised with bishop takes H7 check. I retake. He takes my bishop with his rook with check. I have to move my king out of the way. And he takes rook takes E5. The exchanges are over and I've lost a pawn. I see I'm in a very dangerous position here. He could drop his queen back, bring it to H5, maybe bring this other rook over, and he would have a very strong attack against my king. I decided to continue though with my minority attack. That's the only advantage or counterplay that I had that I hopefully I could slow up his attack with. Plays rook at A1, which kind of expected some type of moves to continue his pressure on my king side. Played rook to B8 to support my pawn push. He plays A3 and I play A5. There again, continuing my plan of attack. Knight F3 and now B4. This will start the exchange of pawns. He plays C takes B4, I take A takes B4, and he pushes his pawn to A4. Giving him a 2-pawn to 1-pawn advantage. He didn't follow my plan, which is why, there again, he's a grandmaster and I'm not. Played queen to C4, hoping to exchange queens. I'd retake with my pawn. I would then have two connected passed pawns. I could push, make the exchange. I'd have a passed pawn that he'd have to stop. I could then maybe swing my other rook over, win this pawn, and somehow hopefully equalize. White responds with queen to D1, dropping his queen back with the idea of moving it to the king side to continue his attack. I played B3. He plays H4, looking for a pawn lever to open up the king side some more. And I took queen takes A4, regaining my pawn. Material is even, but white has a very strong attack brewing here on the king side, and he continues to do so with knight to g5. Now this is where the pressure of his attack got to me, and I made an error here. I played g6. If I would have queen to c4, bringing my queen back into play, I could have pushed the queen forward, possibly exchange, and bringing my other rook over. I could have won this pawn, developed maybe this pass pawn, and who knows, maybe pull out a win. But anyway, that's what I should have played, and I didn't play. I played g6. And now Mr. Christiansen very quickly takes me apart. Plays h5, play bishop takes g5, rook takes g5, and I played king to g7. I should have brought my queen back to e8. You'll note that this queen is now out of play. That was one of the themes I brought up earlier. The queen is not helping my game whatsoever. I needed my queen back, or like I said earlier, back to c4, where I could have continued my play. But in the position it's in now, it's completely out of the game. H takes j6 to continue the game. I played f takes g6. I could have pushed this pawn f6, but he would just had rook to h5, rook h8, and a few more exchanges here, and white still has a very, very strong attack, and he would have won it very quickly anyway. But anyway, f takes g6 was the game move. He plays rook takes e6, bringing another piece into play into the attack. Played rook takes f6. He more than happily exchanges. I retake with my king. He plays rook takes d5, and now he is up 2 pawns. I bring my rook over to e8, just kind of finishing the game out here. He plays queen to c1. I bring my queen back. Queen to g5 check. King to g7. Rook to d7 check. And at this point, I resigned. He could have just very easily, the game could have ended with rook to e7. Queen takes e7 check. King to h6. And queen to h4 checkmate. Well, that was my game against Larry Christiansen, a Grandmaster. It was a Simul. I thought I played well up until I did not bring my queen back to support my original plan. I succumbed to his pressure, him being a Grandmaster and I'm not. But anyway, I just thought everyone might enjoy seeing what it's like to take on someone who's much stronger than someone else or themselves. So thank you very much, and see you next time.